Hey, what's up, horror fans? This is Vincent DeSanti, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of The Ghost Files. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to the Wamp Stomp Films YouTube channel. I'm your host, Vincent DeSanti, and you are here for The Ghost Files Live. It's Friday, June 27th. I took last week off because I needed a rest after that long-ass crowdfunding campaign for Ghosts in the Fog, but we got lots of updates to go over tonight. But before we do all that, just a reminder, if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and definitely check out the links that we have in our bio about the multiple crowdfunds that we have going on at this moment. But before I do that, holy cow, couple of quick little housekeeping things. Bing. There we go. There's that thing, but 44 comments. Holy crap, how am I going to keep up with you guys? What is up, everybody? I know Lamontre was in early. What's up, Lamontre? I saw you here dropping some messages along with Shot by Shot Official. Gregory Peck's in the house. Davey Deathray is here. I know he did a video on some of this stuff earlier. I do love the icon that you put together. It made me step up my game. So I got some fun stuff tonight for you guys when we cover some Friday the 13th. And I can definitely throw it to Davey for inspiring me. And I got a lot of help from Tyler. So we're going to get some fun stuff going on. Let's see. Steve DMV is in the chat. What's up, my buddy? Davey, Vin, talk me off the ledge. This Angry Orchard team up has me worried. Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. Robert the Wolfman is in the house. Who else is here? M113A1. Look at that guy. Geez, I lost track of time and thought I'd be late. Well, no, you are just on time. And in fact, I was early. I was going to let this run for like 5-10 minutes to let the thing the chat fill up. But I just kind of hit the go button a little early, I guess. Patch 15 is here. The Crawling Chaos is here. About the Jason render, why not show us an actor in the new costume so we can see his live action look? The 3D render looks like something for a game. Let me get to that in a little bit. A quick reminder, everybody, just an etiquette thing. If you guys want to ask questions, I always would just please ask, do a super chat, help support the channel. It helps me find your question a lot easier. Right now, I'm just going to look for, I'm just saying hi, what's up to everybody. I'm not going to be answering a ton of questions. We're going to get into questions in a little bit right after the news roundup. We're going to be talking about a ton of stuff. I'll definitely be taking questions. I know a lot of people have questions about Friday the 13th, Jason Universe, Angry Orchid, what is a hard cider? All the things, all the important questions. We will get to those tonight. But first, I just want to finish saying hi to everybody. Tyler Adams is in the show. Hey, listen while driving. Pick me up, bro. Going to see David Spade. David Spade. That's going to be a good one. Church. Not Church. That's David. I'm bad. That's bad. Dana Carvey is who I'm thinking of. But who is? I'm always thinking like the flight attendant. But I love David Spade's awesome. Let's see who else is in the chat. Just flipping through. Moy's in the chat. What's up, Moy? Down in Mexico, hanging out at Mako Animation. Got my window open, so if you heard that, that's just some people rolling by. Look who it is. It's Allie. What's up, Allie? Good to see you. And Antonis Andriatis 2204 loves Phantasm. I think it's my first time in your lives finally watching. Welcome to the first time, long time. All right, love that. Wish I could be there for 3 Friday the 13th projects going on, and I heard that Ari Lehman is doing a Friday the 13th short film. I wouldn't doubt that. What is a vignette? We'll get into that. Somebody asked Mike, we watched a movie, what a vignette is, because I think you get those in Louisiana. Oh my God, that was so, I loved it. Yeah, vignette. It's something you put around the outside of a photo to make it look nice and center the image. Anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit. The Crawling Chaos, it's not using our regular screen names. Oh, that's funny. Here we go. Tony RM's in the house. What's up, brother? Let's see who else is around. I think that's just about everybody. People are kind of following. And what's up, everybody? Let's get in some fun stuff tonight. I obviously want to get to the all the stuff that's going on Friday the 13th, but as you know, we just go over some quick things right at the beginning. In a couple of weeks, 1 month from about now, actually 1 month from today, I'm going to be in Nashua, New Hampshire at Monster Expo with my good friends Kane Hodder, Brad Laurie, Miko Hughes, Mark Price, and Brett Wagner, and a whole bunch more people. There's going to be some of the cast and crew from a film called Shiver, which I will be acting in sometime this winter. It is a ski resort horror movie. I'm looking very much forward to doing that. My good buddy Jeff pulled me onto that. So a little bit more acting work for you, boy. It's going to be pretty fun. And then I'll also be at Crystal Lake Nightmares August 10th, 8th through 10th at the Hilton at LAX. There's some other stuff coming up too. I actually have a conflict on September 5th through 7th. I'm actually booked for 2 things, I think. So I got to figure out which one I'm going to. There's something coming up in Los Angeles, and there's also something coming up in Western Pennsylvania. So keep an eye out for those announcements coming pretty soon. I don't want to spend too much time on that stuff tonight. The other thing I want to get into before we start sort of the Friday the 13th official stuff of it all is I just want to thank everybody who backed Ghost in the Fog. When we last spoke, we were like not even close. I said we would have a Friday the 13th miracle, that we would find our way to the finish line, that if everyone believed in the project, that it could happen. And lo and behold, we did it, folks. We made $58,000 by the time the campaign closed on Sunday, June 16th. And since then, we've added at least 41 more people, and is up to $63,197. Can you believe that? A couple weeks ago, we were barely at 50%, and now we are way over the mark. I have been launching people all week. It's one of the reasons why I took last week off, was I just wanted a chance to celebrate and take a night off and just enjoy the fact that we have another Friday the 13th production coming. It has nothing to do with selling hard cider. It has nothing to do with pre-Pamela stories. This is Jason Voorhees stories, but told in the world of animation. And there was something special that I announced last week, which we can talk more about tonight, which is I've been talking to a crew out here in New England who is going to help me film new scenes for Never Hike Alone, the final cut. We're going to be having a meeting this Sunday to look at a location, which I happen to know personally, that is going to allow us to go in and create a massive death scene that I originally had to cut out. It used to be called the house party massacre scene. And we're basically still keeping that sort of idea. Might turn into a backyard barbecue that goes astray. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to help us create some new stuff for the final cut. I've been working with the editor this week on the final cut as well, which has been going very, very well. I've been sending over some assets. And the thing is what some people don't know about Never Hike Alone 2 is there were a few ideas I had to abandon on the finish line just because we had to finish the movie. So there were a couple of ideas I didn't finish in the film. So there's a couple of things that kind of got glossed over. We're actually kind of putting those in the movie now. So there's a whole new little section with Rick that we're working on. There's some other new things that are going to come through with the way that the films are cut together. And then we're talking about adding these new scenes, picking up other shots. So this is starting to get really exciting for the fact that we can officially say that the final cut is going to be a very unique version of Never Hike Alone. On top of the fact that Ghost in the Fog is now going to go in production, we're looking having that ready early next year. I talked to Juan about it earlier this week. We got them started on section 2. As soon as section 2 of the film is done, it's the shortest section of the film. That's like the middle part, with, as you've seen part of it with Dom fighting Jason in the trailer. We basically want to use this section as our pipeline to really, fit things in. It's a much simpler sequence. There's a lot less assets. It's sort of just two or three characters. And we can sort of get through it quickly to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row when it comes to the other 2 sequences, the first act and the third act, that are a little bit more larger and complex. So once we have that done, we're going to be releasing pieces of it, and we're definitely going to be releasing Dom's Kill probably sometime at the end of the summer, early fall, as a surprise to show everybody what's going on, and hopefully raise more money to do even more fantastical things with all of these projects. So your continued support of the project is welcome. And speaking of continued support of projects, we did announce last week, and we did post on the channel this week, the trailer for Slay, which is directed by Kira Gardner. It's written by Zoe Luna and Jimmy Simpson, produced by Jimmy Simpson, starring Aya Cash and Shawnee Smith. I've talked about this on the show before. It is currently crowdfunding right now on Kickstarter. Earlier today, it was at $63,981. I believe right now it's around $64,500. There's currently a perk on this campaign that you can get signed memorabilia from Shawnee Smith's from the Saw franchise. Not only Shawnee, but James Wan. They have the reverse bear trap. They're going to sign those, a Blu-ray, a custom print Saw poster, and there's also a mixtape that you're going to get, which is full of Shawnee's favorite songs and an introduction message from Shawnee herself on it, which has already been done and kind of ready to go on the campaign. So that's on the campaign right now. We're going to be launching new perks. One based on Tony Gardner's work from The Blob. Jimmy Simpson's going to put up a perk that's dedicated to Always Sunny and the McBoyle family. There's some really cool experiences that are already there. If you're an effects person and you want to do a masterclass with Tony Gardner, or you want to spend some acting lessons with Jimmy Simpson, and there's other things that are going to be coming along as well. Definitely check out the campaign, pick up a Blu-ray, back one of the bundles, and help support independent horror. Our good friends Evan Butka and Gonzalo D'Angino and our G&E and camera crew worked on this movie. So the same movie that shot, the same camera crew and lighting crew that worked on Never Hike Alone and Never Hike in the Snow, they helped shoot this movie as well. So shout out to them. Shout out to Kira and Jimmy for bringing me onto the project. And also my good buddy Alan, who's helping me run this campaign with them. The four of us have been working on it for the last, I would say, 6 months. So we're really excited about this. We have about 16 days left to get the film over, to $150,000. And if we've shown everything like with Ghost in the Fog, as long as we keep believing and as long as we keep supporting independent horror, anything can happen. So please check out these campaigns and let's go. So now we're going to get to some of the things for the night. Before we get into the thing that I think everyone wants to talk about, I wasn't around last week to talk about this little gem that came out about Brad Caleb Kane's Crystal Lake Peacock A24 series, which began filming last week. And of course, the day I decided to take off, Brad posts this photo from set to officially announce that Crystal Lake, the TV show, is in production. For the first time in 16 years, an official Friday the 13th production made it all the way through pre-production and actually started shooting. It's shooting under the title, and I love this, Mama's Boy. Look at that slate. That is so sexy. I mean, look at that thing. I know everybody wants to talk about some other stuff, but let's enjoy a moment for a little bit. I know a lot of people don't want to deal with Pamela. They don't want to talk about stories pre-Jason. Is the series going to have Jason? Yes, it is. By season 2, at least, it's going to be all Jason. But season 1, can you give me one season of Pamela? Just bear with me and see little boy Jason running around and seeing what he's all about too. Let's get through that part a little bit, and just give us a little bit of backstory. It's only 8 episodes. It's only going to be 8 episode seasons, and then we're going to have to wait another year. And then they're bringing Jason for at least 3 more seasons, 8 episodes apiece. That's 24 episodes of Jason. So we're going to get 24 episodes of Jason if you watch them all, and we're going to get 8 episodes of Pamela. And I'm sure Pamela is going to pop in and out the entire time as well in flashbacks, but Jason's coming. But in the meantime, look at that logo. That slate is so beautiful, and that logo is so cool that it made me ask the question on Friday is, Jason Universe, where's this t-shirt? I want this logo on a t-shirt. This is cool. I would wear this. If this was on a tank top, I'd be out on the beach in this thing. I might get that tattooed on my other leg. I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's got style. That's got grit. That's got a little bit of personality. I mean, these are the things that Friday the 13th fans are looking for. And I'm not out here to be a negative Nelly, but when things are staring at you right in the face, these are the things you have to be able to pick out and be like, you know what, Brad, you're onto something here. Let's get this on a shirt and let's get this out to Halloween Horror Nights right now. Let's make sure the crew is all in shirts that are wearing these. Let's get this out let's put more of this out into the ether to get fans excited, because there's something really cool about this. Just the fact that this is on the slate of the TV show, it just gives you a vibe. And I like this vibe. This vibe is, twitch of the death nerve. This vibe is deep red. This is Giallo style filmmaking with, gritty early New York, like just gross maniac Will Lustig sort of vibe to it. And I like it. I think that's what we want. I think that's what fans need. We need something with sophistication, but with a little bit of filth. That's what Friday the 13th is. And that's the balance that you can play with this. And I'm hoping that this can ride the line for us, whereas other ventures are giving us slight pause and to see what is going on. And speaking of that, let's move on to some of the before I do that, let's see some of these things. I got 39 comments popping up here. A vignette is a short dialogue under 1,000 words. I like that. Make sure you hit that like button and show your guys some Vince up. So let's make sure you guys are doing that. Let me see. All I'm coming here to say is that although we finally got some media, that's not a promotion for a brand that still have a lot to work on. Thanks, man. And Killer J, thank you for all the kind words that you've been saying. I hear you. I see you. So I do appreciate the work and for spreading the love about Wamp Stomp films. Ghost Jason's in the house, everybody. Slate is bulletproof. Where was that? I love that. Where was it? 5 shirts, please. Yeah, that'd be cool as heck. Northside Gorilla says Slate is bulletproof. That'll be young Jason's weapon. That'd be pretty cool. I like the logo. I'm down for anything in the Friday the 13th universe at this point. Yep, that logo is much better. Not looking AI looking job. I know it looks like it's actually made by somebody. I'm stoked for Pamela. You got me excited to see her character fleshed out. That's good. I'm hoping to get people excited about Pamela because I think that's going to be where people who want quality and want, a certain level of storytelling, that's where you're going to get it. It's got that 80s summer look. Yep, love it. That'd be young Jason's pre-machete weapon. I think that's cool. Yep. You notice you sort of got a face in the handle. Yeah, there's a face in the handle, like with the fingerprints and all that stuff. It's all, yeah, it looks like Pamela's face too. Good pickup. Kino torso vibe. Rich, strange with that one. Pamela's done well. She's going to be very popular. I believe so, Sue. You guys are saying what's up to each other. Keep up the work. Finally, A24 gives us something still. I want to see Polaroids of the counselors on a corkboard, meet our Crystal Lake camp counselors, something to whet our appetite for the world they're building. I agree. I'd like to see some more cast announcements. I'd like to see who Crazy Ralph is. I'd like to see who Steve Christie is. I've always, I think that Steve Christie is such an important character in this story. He's such a vital part because he connects. Other than Crazy Ralph, other than Pamela and Jason, he's the only real person who connects Jason's drowning to present time because he had to have been there in some way. So I'm really looking forward to see if they flesh out who Steve Christie is, which I think will be really cool. All right, so we caught up on comments really quick because we obviously want to get into the news of the week, which is from our good friends at the Jason Universe, who have launched one of their many activations with a brand called Angry Orchard to create something called Sweet Revenge, a Friday the 13th vignette. And to help kind of do that, I came up with my own logo for it since we didn't have one there. So I figured it would look something like this. And let me get this out of the way. So yeah, Angry Orchard presents Sweet Revenge, a Friday the 13th vignette, a 15-minute movie directed by Mike P. Nelson that will be airing on YouTube. Now, where have I heard about 15-minute shorts about Friday the 13th that have been airing on YouTube before? I've heard that they come in 27 minutes and 54 minutes and 72 minutes and 59 minutes and lots of different lengths if they go out on YouTube. Seems like Jason Universe is getting in the fan film game, and I say welcome aboard. Welcome to the Fan Film Club, Jason Universe. Don't be coy about it. Don't call a vignette a short film. You can't even call it a short film. You got to call it a vignette. What is this? And but before we get into it, let's put it into their own words because, it was announced yesterday. We got a new Friday the 13th vignette, Sweet Revenge, set from filmmaker Mike P. Nelson. Jason Voorhees' next stories is set to be told by Silent Night, Deadly Night reboot filmmaker Mike P. Nelson, produced by Friday the 13th franchise owner Horror Inc., and the new Jason Universe project is a bloody short-form vignette titled Sweet Revenge, and it's set as the centerpiece of the franchise's bold 45th anniversary campaign. Per the description for Sweet Revenge, fans will drop into a chilling weekend into the woods with a blood-soaked surprises only Jason can deliver. Nelson is writing, directing, and producing through his Rockford Road Pictures banner. Production on Sweet Revenge began already earlier this month, and the project is set to debut on both the Jason Universe YouTube channel and through the site hosted by Angry Orchard Cider, which is sponsoring the vignette as part of a larger collaboration with the franchise. Horror Inc.'s Friday the 13th franchise as a whole is aiming to make a big resurgence tied to the original film's 45th anniversary. Recently, the franchise debuted an all-new Jason Voorhees designed by artist Greg Nicotero, featured in the image above, announced Jason's iteration at Universal's integration at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights for the first time in almost a decade, and continued development of A24's highly anticipated Crystal Lake TV series. Nelson is best known for directing 2021 Wrong Turn reboot and his debut feature 2018's The Domestics. His last feature film, the upcoming Silent Night Deadly Night reboot, will be released in theaters and Cineverse on December 12th. I'm so grateful for the team at Horror Inc. saw something in Sweet Revenge and wanted it as part of the Jason Voorhees story. Nelson said, and to think 30 years ago, I was trying to secretly watch these movies on VHS when no one was looking. To have the opportunity to write and direct one of these stories is surreal, not to mention having an amazing team led by Chad Villela and Brianna Lee Johnson helped me bring it to life. Not only is the vignette a new take on a beloved IP, it is a comforting, gory hug reminding us of why we fell in love with these movies. Much gruesome fun awaits you. Friday the 13th LLC's Mark Toberoff added, Jason has always been a force in pop culture, and the 45th anniversary felt like the perfect moment to do something truly unexpected. Partnering with Horror Inc. and Angry Orchard who share our passion, has opened up a new way to engage fans. It's exciting to see the franchise evolve with such creativity while staying true to what makes Jason iconic. We were beyond excited when Mike Nelson came on board and Angry Orchard sponsored the production to help bring us to life in a wickedly unexpected way. Horror Chief Marketing Executive Sherry Kahn said, even in a short vignette, Nelson will masterfully capture our shared vision, honoring the heritage of the franchise while delivering something fresh and thrilling to a new generation. Well, folks, this is a shot from here. And as you can see, if you look really closely off to the right, that's our boy in costume. That's Jason Voorhees in costume right there in the brand new Jason universe look. And actually, you know what, guys? You're not going to believe this. I know someone on set who actually got a shot. And I'm going to share it with you all right now. Are you ready for this exclusive? All right, here we go. This is a shot from Sweet Revenge, coming soon from Jason Universe. Just kidding. Yeah, so let's talk about this for a little bit. Sweet Revenge, the Angry Orchard plot by Mike P. Nelson and Angry Orchard. This will be a 15-minute Angry Orchard commercial, basically a fan film that won't really be long enough to establish any character and will be sort of a run-of-the-mill slasher fan film. I mean, I've seen probably about 30 of these in the last 4 years. Or since 2017, since people started making Never Hike Alone. I think that unbeknownst to the Jason universe, I think they have some very stiff competition. Set Never Hike Alone aside. I'm talking about just general fan films who have come out and done a really good job of establishing a connection with the fan base, working in this meeting, working in the short films. They're stepping into our world. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when this lands and what the reception will be for this new look of Jason. What will happen if, let's say, it's a negative reaction and people don't love it as much as they are basically forcing us to try and say that people really love what's going on here. Every single press release that they've released has sort of overlooked the fact that it has been an overwhelmingly negative response to everything the Jason universe has done. And it makes me question that if they were aiming to make 15-minute shorts for YouTube, why were we never called? I mean, we've been doing this for the last 8 years very successfully with no help from anyone but other fans who have helped us crowdfund movies and have gone to 52 countries around the world. I have fans posting on every single post saying how much they would love for the Wamp Stomp Films team to be, involved with the project. In the back of my head, I'm going, I know that there are better filmmakers out there who are going to be able to do a feature film. They need someone who's studio, tested, someone who's going to need to lead a feature, someone like Fede Alvarez, somebody like Mike Flanagan, and all of these things. And to see it sort of come down to an Angry Orchard commercial directed by Mike P. Nelson, who, no offense, we're on the same level. I mean, Wrong Turn didn't turn anyone's heads. No Wake was a ripoff of Kayak from Honest to the Odd, and no one has seen Silent Night, Deadly Night yet. But again, it's just another remake of a remake, and Wrong Turn was a remake, and I've never even heard of his first film. But yet everyone knows what Never Hike Alone is. Everyone knows our established brand with the franchise, and we know that we could have created something better than what is to my left right here. what gives me concern is that if this has been going on for a while, Mike may be one of the people to blame for why Jason looks like this. If he was one of the creative people behind the fact that they were putting together these productions and getting ready to make Sweet Revenge, if this is what he came up with, and this is sort of what he worked with Greg Nicotero, and this is what he's delivered, well, I'm sorry, buddy, but strike 1, 2, and 3 already. This thing looks bad. I don't know what this film is going to be, and I don't want to be negative, but I have no real hope for Sweet Revenge other than the fact that it is going to have cringy dialogue, bad characters, a very wonky setup with people drinking hard cider, and then Jason killing some people on YouTube. And it's like, okay, is this really what fans have been asking for? They've been asking for a movie. They've been asking for you to swing out of the park. I want to see James Wan. I want to see Lee Winnell. I want to see somebody of stature and who has been successfully in injury, not somebody who's just managed to make movies, but someone who has done it, exceeded, and who people know who they are, not confusing them with the guy who was the second host on MST3K, because that's who I initially thought of when they said the name. And then I went, oh yeah, that guy who ripped off Cortland on Kayak. I remember that dude. They gave him Silent Night, Deadly Night for Cineverse, which quite frankly isn't setting any bars for quality standards in the world of horror, which gives me even lower hope for this, because it just makes me say that, okay, so they have a low production quality bar, they have a low acting quality bar, and they have a low quality premise. And they're coming into the fan film world thinking they can slap a Jason Universe sticker on it, do what we've been doing for the last 8 years very successfully with no help from them other than just being out of the way. And they're going to step into our world and take over our territory. That's going to be a fun one, because guess what? We just got funded for a 10-minute animated film, and we're going to release a brand new Friday the 13th feature featuring new footage in the Never Hike Alone world sometime next year. So maybe this is just what it's going to be. Maybe the Jason universe is just never going to reach out to Wamp Stomp Films, and maybe Wamp Stomp Films is going to be its own entity running with Ghost Jason and creating all of our own stuff, which fans are probably going to prefer over the corporate, watered down, or cidered down Jason that they're going to get with these vignettes. And if you have other ideas with vignettes, I would just say it would be in Jason Universe's best interest to give us a call, because I've got about 20 15-minute vignettes that I can turn into some of the most watched content on YouTube that you've ever seen. Ideas that I've never had the budgets to go and tackle, that you could allow Womp Stomp Films to take a next step to that level. And studio presence, yeah, Never Hike Alone might not be studio movies, but I have plenty of studio experience. I've worked on feature animated films. I've worked on streaming series, feature films in every capacity in almost every single department. If anyone's ready to direct a brand new feature or something like this, I'm telling you, it's me. And it's the people that I built around me that could make these things really special. Visual effects artists like Nora Hewitt and Kelsey Burke, cinematographers like Evan Butka, our entire, team as in general think about what you could do Jason Universe with Kyle MacLeod as a character that you could send off on side adventures. Andrew could be a spokesperson for Angry Orchard, for Christ's sakes. He would be perfect. He looks like Charlie Hunnam and cost a tenth of the price. What are you guys doing? Like, I really got to ask honestly and earnestly. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not being conceited. I'm not thinking here with a big head. I'm talking from the heart. And I'm saying, this is what I was born to do. And I have to sit and watch other people make shows that I wish I could be a part of. And it hurts to do that. And I'm not trying to be like the Grinch who stole Friday the 13th. I want to cheer these things on. That's why I'm excited about Crystal Lake TV show. That's why I'm excited when I see things like Mama's Boy artwork and things that I want to see on a t-shirt. That makes me happy. When things that are done well are put forth in the Friday the 13th franchise, I'm going to cheer you on. And when things look squirrely, or when things seem like, well, why are you going that way when you could have just asked us, seems very odd. And so I don't know if there's just something where it's a personal issue where they don't like me, or they don't like what we've done over the last few years, or they don't want to enable fan filmmakers to step beyond, our little world. That'd be one thing, but now you're stepping into our world. You're stepping into YouTube, and you're stepping into short films. And if anyone knows this world, it's us. And so I just want to say that out loud as, just putting it out in the universe, as they say. And it's no hard feelings. I get it. You're working through a studio system. You have agents throwing people at you. Sounds like Mike P. Nelson has maybe the best agent of all time for him to go from Wrong Turn and No Wake to Friday the 13th. Seems pretty crazy to me, but hey, he made it. So now he's going to make something under these constraints. He's the one who said yes. I do know for a fact that they asked other people along the lines, and I kept wondering why people kept saying no, and now I understand. They weren't making a feature film. They were trying to make short films. And again, how we're not on the list, or how people aren't out there who are even interviewing for these films, even saying like, you should probably talk to Wamp Stomp Films. It's kind of crazy to me. And I don't know, just kind of gets to me. So I said all I had to say about that. I want to jump in the comments. I want to see what you guys have to say. Let's see what you guys have to say. So I am at the bottom of the comments. If you guys want to start asking your questions now, if you've already asked a question, just drop it in now. I'm not going to scroll back through 71 comments. I'm sure you guys were firing off there. But first of all, thank you, Northside. In Womp Stomp we trust. I do appreciate that. Oh, Mardina's in the chat. What's up? Turning to a knowledgeable people with experience and a built-in fan base would make too much sense for a corporate entity, right? Better a bad movie than no movie at all. Well, I do agree that they should be trying to make stuff, and it's not that they can't make more. It's more of the fact that the first few things out of the gate are so important. And if they're not good and they're not met with praise and they're not met with excitement, then it's going to make things harder for more films to get made. And selfishly, the more Friday the 13th stuff that gets made, the more people are going to run out of to make stuff. And eventually they may come and ask me to work on it. Eventually, I just want the stuff to be good enough so I can eventually work on it, that there's still going to be a Friday the 13th there, and that we won't always have to come to the fans to try and make it, that we can actually get some really good corporate studio money to go in and design some kill sequences and design some sets and take advantage of some of the stuff that we have to really push our envelope to whole nother level. It would just make too much sense. It feels more like they are still with the mentality of YouTube filmmakers are amateur in their eyes, but a lot of heavy hitters are coming out of YouTube, like David F. Sandberg with Lights Out. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people on YouTube who are getting deals. I mean, look, some kid who was like 12 years old signed a movie deal with Blumhouse 10 years ago, and his movie's finally getting made with Back Hills. I watched Never Hike in the Snow today. I enjoyed that. It's so awesome. Never Hike in the Snow is like your perfect commercial. I mean, look at Disappear. Disappear is basically a Coors Banquet beer commercial. A glorified commercial is all it is going to be. But that's the thing. It can be a glorified commercial, and it could be something interesting. And I actually have such a perfect premise for this. Like, if they would have came to me, I would have pitched them the most perfect idea that would have fit into this. It wouldn't have been generic. It wouldn't have been whatever the hell I'm sure is going to come out of this. Just this, like, oh my God, I can't even imagine what's going to happen. Womp Stomp was built for this. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. Jason Universe is not interested in making short films. They're just another NFT scam. At this point, I think you'll be better off not getting into the business with them. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It is definitely a risk. Yeah. And another 19-year-old who made Backrooms signed with A24 to make a movie. It's a great time to be a YouTube content creator. Yeah, exactly. It's time to let out an outsider to do short. Oh my God. Wow, the pun on that one. Oh my God. Thank you, Leanne. This better be good or legs will break. Yeah, I know this. It better be good. I also agree with Mitch. But yeah, guys, it's sort of, I can't even look at this thing anymore. Hang on a second. Where are you? Or save me. Let's look at that. That's nice. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, folks. This is how you get people excited. You do little fun things like this. I would like to see some more behind the scenes footage popping out from Crystal Lake. That would be nice. But we haven't seen anything yet, so we haven't heard any updates there. We know that they're shooting. They're going to shoot until November. Yeah, let's talk about bright side stuff. Crystal Lake shooting until November, so who knows when we're going to start to see an episode. I've worked on shows that we've shot in June and we're airing by October, and we're still shooting till December. And there are other shows that complete filming and don't air their their shows for like 2 years. My guess is there's 3 Friday the 13th next year. They're probably going to be aiming for release on one of those. And we're going to be keeping an eye on that so we don't trip over a Crystal Lake premiere and try to get Never Hike Alone stuff out. But that's definitely going to be something. Let's just see. I just interviewed an Emmy award-winning director from Rick and Morty who is a massive horror fan, and I shared NHA with him. I'd love to see you guys get connected. Hey, I'd love to work with some folks from Rick and Morty. I may even know who they are. Who was it? Come Play started as a YouTube short. It has some of the best autism represented in a horror movie. Yeah, no, I mean, they're out here. Davey's taking all the credit. Hey, it's all right, Resolute. Eric, it's good to see you. February 26th will be the debut of the show. Are you 1,000% sure? Is that, or are you just guessing? I think Crystal Lake is going to be decent, but the Jason universe is the biggest joke in the horror community. I mean, right now, unfortunately, actually, you know what, guys? We don't need that. Let's go full screen. I can get comfy. I can stretch out. Take a little sip. The good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because it's not. I don't want to sit here and have to be like, oh, the Jason universe sucks. And I watch like Mike we watched a movie like lose his fucking mind every week, and it's fun because I think a lot of people are getting their negativity out through Mike. I don't want to be the negative guy. I mean, I want to ask the obvious question of like, listen, like I'm a competitive dude. I grew up an athlete. I can't help but be in competition with things all the time. It's just what drives me. And I just want to know what I have to do to be on the field. You know what I mean? Like, what do I have to do? How much harder do I have to work? You know, what else do you want to see me master? What do I need to improve in my game to get out there and do what I need to do? And that's, I mean, basically all I want to know. But what I want to show the Jason universe, I want to speak in their language. This is stuff that fans have made me. Look, I got a Wamp Stomp Funko Ghost Jason. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice? Don't you think that would sell on a store? And I'm sorry, John and the guys at Concrypt. I hijacked this because I was testing it, and your guys right here too. But look at that. That's a NECA Jason that's been adjusted into a Ghost Jason. Isn't that nice? That used to be Freddy versus Jason, and now he looks a lot better because he looks like Ghost Jason. We had somebody custom make this, and we have more of these on the way. Tyler's working on a 3D custom animated Ghost Jason. I got another 1/6 scale Ghost Jason coming out from another person that people backed. Ghost Jason is already marketable. You can slap a UPC code on his ass right now and start cashing checks. I'm telling you, you take this IP, you plug it into the system, and all will be good in the world of Friday the 13th. Please take it, have it, improve it, do whatever you want with it. Just figure out something to do other than what you guys have been doing. Just, you know what I mean? It's like, I hate watching Friday the 13th get picked on by people. I mean, I look at the comments and it's just really tough to watch all the time. Let's see. Boom. Yeah, let's get more Friday the 13th film, just as long as no directors try to outdo the shit scenes in part 3, the supermarket dude, or part 5, Demon's Outhouse. Yeah, I know, right? That's what we need is more outhouse scenes. Jason's universe is late putting out news we gotten 3 days ago. 3 days later, they announced the Crystal Lake show filming. I honestly don't get them and who runs that account. Yeah, that's the other thing. Their account is so far behind on news. It's crazy. People that aren't even big Friday fans are saying how ridiculous it is. I know. Yes, it's all true. Leanne Beveridge got me the hookup, and now I know that I don't have to ask before I give her the biggest shout out and personally name her at the intro of the interview. I hope Crystal Lake either comes out on either February 13th or March 13th of 20. Yeah, I would hope early. Figures go hard. They do. I mean, they want to sell toys. They want to sell video games. Look at how many people are putting Ghost Jason in these like Friday the 13th ripoff games. We're making a Never Hike Alone Friday the 13th game. Like, well, style game. We're making it our own Never Hike Alone original thing. We're not making a Friday the 13th game. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to do our own thing, but just with similar graphics. Thank you, Jay. We should talk about that game in a second. Should do the face. Ghost Jason should be the face of the Jason universe. Do you think they'll go the route of remaking part 1 through, let's say, 6? I think they're going to go 1 through 4. I don't think they're going to touch Undead Jason for a while. I don't want to be negative, but like I said earlier in the chat, I don't feel like they care about fans. I think they're aiming for new fans who don't know any better. I agree. I think that's the sort of the way they work. Like, just brush out the old fans and just make new fans. Now, you're not negative. You're just frustrated when you know you have the drive to the guy next to you is driving like SpongeBob and wrecking the sports car. No, I get that. Those MFers might take Ghost Jason literally and make him phase through walls and shit. You know what? Let them, you know what I mean? Like, let it be an interesting Jason. Like, I don't care. Just get that design. Like, just give me the money to make the design finalized. Like, I don't know if you guys follow Bill Hunt on Instagram and Facebook, but if you follow Bill Hunt, he's a fantastic effects artist who worked on Jason Goes to Hell, Lord of the Rings, and a million other horror movies. He has been one of the champions of Never Hike Alone since since the first movie. Has done a lot of our concept art. He did a version of Jason that should have been Ghost Jason. That's on his page right now. That looks really, really cool. So you have to check that out. And Kyle MacLeod, I know that's right. Let's get back to Andrew Lady and how marketable he is. He was on the cover of romance novels for years. Girls lined up for him to sign autographs at all these like conventions and stuff like that. Like, he's a marketable, personable dude. You put an Angry Orchard in that kid's hand and he is going to sell the shit out of it. It's like, let's all work together. I don't understand what's going. Yeah, Bill's work is great. Exactly. I like to see Nick Castle and Halloween 2018 situation with Kane Hodder in these. That would be interesting. Jason versus Megan. I'm calling it. That's funny. Old fans make new fans. We show the stuff to our kids, for fuck's sake. We introduce this stuff to those who haven't seen it. No, exactly. And I can't tell you how many people have used Never Hike Alone as an introductory of Friday the 13th to the younger generation, because it is a little bit safer to watch. Yeah, we do have gore. We do flash a little booby here and there. Only once if you catch it real quick. But we've helped doing that. And a lot of the gamers know what Ghost Jason is. We were in one of the games. I designed a kill for the game. Like, what do we have to do to keep, like, just want to do it. Yes. And Andrew is a handsome. That is definitely a fact. Having Jason face through the walls like he's the Flash. Get that. Ghost Jason, baby. He's made of ectoplasm. He'd be like the Clayface meets Jason. Thanks, because NHA is better than most of the sequels. And that's the other thing too. It's like, I never set out for any of this. I was never like, I'm going to make Never Hike Alone so good that it's going to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I just wanted to make something good. And when I finally got to the other side of it and I realized that there was something there, that I felt like I was tapping into something that wasn't just like, ooh, I like doing this. It was like this power core in me of like, every time I access this part of my brain, every time I get into this situation where it's me, a set full of competent crew members, and some Jason material, we make magic happen. And this is just sort of, I'm just like pitching myself to be like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. If they signed me up and said, hey, Vin, we're going to sign you. You're going to work on Jason Universe. You're going to help us come up with, short films for different entities for the next 20 years. I'd be like, sign me up. I got stories for days. We'll come up with anything we want to do. How quickly can we get to Jason X2? Like, what do you want from me? And that's just, this sort of is it. But in the meantime, it's going to be original films. It's going to be some other stuff they're working on, which I can actually talk about a little bit tonight, because we've been talking so much about Friday the 13th, and I can't let it consume everything that we're doing at Wamp Stomp Films, because we are up to some other stuff, which I do want to talk about. Let's see. No, but in all seriousness, man, before I head out, you're doing great things for the series and keeping Jason alive in the right way. We have to sit down one day and let me pick your brain. Yeah, I would love to sit down. We can have an interview sometimes. Oh yeah, remember? But there was Freddy versus Ghostbusters YouTube film, and do one with Jason. Yeah, I mean, you can do a whole bunch of stuff, bunch of crossover stuff on YouTube. It would be really funny. Let me see. I've been only going for 45 minutes. Damn, that's been a quick one. Never Hike Alone inspired me to make fan films. My profile picture for my Scream fan film, actually. Well, see, look at that. Congratulations. I mean, we got filmmakers out here. We're inspiring people, and that's really what we want to do. And that's what I love doing. I love the fact that we can, get out and, inspire people to follow in our footsteps and do what we did, pick up a camera and go. And that's just great. You might have to just show them up with the next one, and I want to bring my game to the NHA universe. And that's one of the things, like, we're going to upgrade. That's the other thing for the Final Cut. Tyler's coming on to help us improve the visual effects. we're really going to try and cut this new movie as if it could be at the full quality standard of a feature film. It's going to be an hour and 45 minutes long. We're not talking about short films, and it's not talking about an anthology. This is going to be a smoothly cut, one film rolls into the next, all one narrative. And it's going to have almost like over 20 deaths when we're done. I mean, the highest death count in a Friday the 13th studio film was 22. And I know some other fan films have killed like 1 million people, but we're going to do something pretty special with this. So I'm really looking forward to that. Low key, a hate crime. Nobody signs you, Vin. Hate crime. They hate Italians. Vin, what you do is really amazing. It strikes a chord, even if it had people rip me apart in the comments thinking I'm only praising you because I'm in business with you. What a crock. I know a lot of people kind of do that. And I hate when they do that. We need to do that 2009 fan film. But yeah, no, I think that would have been good idea. But okay, enough about Friday the 13th and me not working on Friday the 13th, because there are other things going on at Wamp Stomp Films that I should talk about, that I would love to talk about tonight. I don't have any graphics for them because we've just sort of been working on these things behind the scenes. I've talked about No Problemo before, and I've talked about the bonding a little bit. Right now we're putting No Problemo on hold because I just did a rewrite on the bonding, the werewolf script that I've been talking about on the show a few times. This is my next original horror project that I'm really excited about. I just completed a pass on it that it was just one of those things where, and you writers, you filmmakers out there know, you have an idea, you're working on it, and you got a good script. You know what I mean? It makes sense. It goes front to back. It's got good characters. It's got these things, but there's just something missing, and it, and you can feel it. And I think a lot of people, when they make a film, and especially short films, especially independent level, there's so much of we just got to get things done. Let's just not think about it too much. Let's just make it in the moment and go. And those projects are fun. They're also filled with lots of plot holes and mistakes, and you end up with long nights and, trying to figure things out, and things don't quite come together like they had it in your head. It was just this project that sort of sounded good on the page for one moment. And then when you actually started to pull out the pieces and try to drive the car around the track, you're dragging your engine across the, the concrete, and you're going, oh shit, maybe this movie isn't as good as I thought it was. Well, anyway, I'm trying to avoid that with anything that I'm going to put out next. And this film, The Bonding, I got to that point where I was at that point in the script where I was like, you know what, this is okay, but there are certain parts where I feel like they haven't evolved yet. I haven't got that key moment of what is this short film really about? And I sat down with it one day, and I've had these words kind of rotating through my mind from my lead actress who's going to be in the movie. And I finally found a way to implement them into the script. And it opened up all these different avenues for the conversations happening between the characters. It made all of the actions that happen mean much more. And I was able to actually convey something that I've been trying to convey and sort of struggling to with certain little flashback scenes and things like that. So I finally worked it out where I'm working on the right flashbacks and not the wrong ones. And we're going to be pretty gun-ho about getting this movie done by the end of the year. So this is something I'm probably going to possibly crowdfund in in September or October. It's going to be a pretty decent sized budget, maybe $10,000 to $15,000. It's a 21-minute short film. We may get some private equity to come and help us with it. And we're going to probably film it up here in New England or upstate New York. And we're feeling really, really good about it. So I just want to put that on everyone's radar to know that original horror is coming from Wamp Stomp Films. This is a short film that I do want to turn into a feature, but I'm really passionate about this part of the story right now. And it makes such a good short, and it just encapsulates everything I want to do with the feature. I'm trying to ask some people I got to cast a little bit more of it. We're going to be doing a table read in a couple of weeks. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And then also keep an eye out for some traction that we're going to have with Ghost Chicken. Ghost Chicken is nearly completing all of the character designs. We're going to have some fun new artwork created to help sell the project. I'll be partnering with Apostrophe Books, who did Rip to Shreds, to help come up with the physical copies of the graphical novel, getting all the pages done, all the artwork done. My good friend Ethan Scott Gregory, is helping me out with that. So we're going to be launching that sometime in the late summer, early fall as well. But in the meantime, I just want to remind everybody that Slay is going to be crowdfunding all the way until July 13th. Again, that's the slasher film directed by Kira Gardner, written by Jimmy Simpson, that we're co-producing. That's on Kickstarter right now. Definitely make sure you check that out. And then aside from that, I just want to say shout out to a good friend of mine, Nate Sellers. This week we wrapped up his production, How the Lonely Keep, in like upstate New Hampshire on this beautiful farm in the middle of nowhere. So that's a film that's going to be dropping on the festival circuit this fall. Also, shout out and happy birthday to Steven Schloss. Congratulations on finishing Gimme. He's about to submit that to the Telluride Horror Show. We're actually going to also submit How the Lonely Keep to the Telluride Horror Show. So hopefully 2 projects that I've had the pleasure of working on this year will get there. And I'd love to make it to Telluride this year to have something to watch and hang out and watch some movies. So that's definitely what's going on the original radar for Wamp Stomp Films. And there's obviously some other stuff going on. No Problemo is obviously still going on in the background, will probably happen after the bonding, along with a couple other, I'm still working on that ghost hunting short that I've talked about. I'm doing some rewrites on that. Coming up probably at the end of the year or early next year, there's going to be Jason Rising 2. There's going to be Dylan's New Nightmare 2. There's going to be a lot of things coming down the pipe from Wamp Stomp Films. But in the meantime, we got Ghost in the Fog. We got the final hike. We got the final cut. We have the bonding, and we have Ghost Chicken. So we got plenty of stuff coming out of Wamp Stomp Films. We're also, I want to talk about the game for a little bit. So the Never Hike Alone video game, I met with Robert and some people who are going to help us build the game. We actually got some additional support staff who heard about the game and came on and said, we want to volunteer to help. So they're actually literally rewriting the game from the ground up on a different system so it plays better. And so they're working on that right now. It is going to be an original story that is being written by myself and Brandon Scott Murphy. It's going to star, Kyle McLeod, Trail Junkie, and what am I calling him? Ryan Gordon, the Hikerman 5000. There's going to be, I believe, 7 or 8. I think there's 8 characters in total, but we have I think we have almost 10 characters in total, but 8 of them are actual backers. And there's one more backer room left. If you want to be in the Never Hike Alone game, there's one more perk left. We activated one more. So I think that's still out there. You can definitely check that out. It's going to play very much like the Friday the 13th game, which actually, guys, I got to show you something. Where did I put it? Oh, yeah. So this weird thing happened where Vinny Guastafar sent me a bunch of stuff. And I don't know why. And I've been trying to call Vinny and ask him why he sent me this stuff, because I think somebody sent stuff for him to sign, but he sent it to me. And inside was Friday the 13th, the game. So one of the cool things that I was able to do, even though you can look at the PDF online, was look at the actual booklet for like how to play the game. Look, it's got the box and everything. It's amazing. Now, I didn't open the plastic for the box. It was, you could open everything, like everything's here, like it's all good. I just wanted to just examine it. But look at that. Like, isn't that rad? Like, just to be able to see this really inspired me. Like, we knew what we were building before, but in this, we kind of have a better idea of like how to just structure the game, the way I wanted to play. I did like a whole beat sheet of like, here's what's going to happen. Here's how the gameplay is going to go. Here's how you beat the game. And yeah, like the LJN game was very frustrating. We're trying to make it as playable as playable as possible. We want we want people taking like speed games through, like try and find everything as fast as you can, beat as many things as you can, defeat the ghost as fast as you can, all that stuff. The game was hard. You needed a Game Sharp to win the game. After learning how to play it, it's actually a very easy game to beat. And Jason's not that hard to beat at all. I have an 8-bit Jason tattoo from the Nintendo game. I need to get one of those. No, you needed the pitchfork. Yeah, you needed the pitchfork, you needed the torch, and you needed the sweater. What else? Ghost in the Fog is going to be earlier next year, I think. Early next year. Yeah, so, but anyway, we're excited for the game. It is, and when we're done with it, it's going to be cool. It's going to have its own story. One of the things I asked to be in it, and I can't guarantee anything yet until I get here back and like sort of go over it and see how it goes. But like one of the things we wanted to incorporate in the game was not only that do you like play the game and get all that stuff and then go to a cutscene. Like I wanted like Ninja Gaiden cutscenes where like things are moving, people are moving, there's a little bit of animation. And so they're like, what would be nice is that when a character is killed, like there's a kill animation, or if you kill Ghost Jason in a certain ghost whatever in the game, like in that scene, depending on what kill it is or what fight it is, there's a specific animation for what Ghost does to get away from you. And so it's kind of a cool thing that we're working on to sort of take that like bones of what Friday the 13th could have been and sort of adding more to it, but also stripping away a lot of like the extra fluff of like, there's no kids in cabins that you have to protect. There's none of that stuff. It's all just centered around you trying to find out the mystery. And so it's all about the story, trying to hunt down the pieces that tell you the story, that give you the secret to beat the character. And then you get the secret and you're going to go find the secret. And then you fight the character in like a big final battle. And then you can start the game all over again and try it again. And it's not going to be like insanely hard. We don't want it to be too hard. We want it to be impossible. It will be challenging. But we want it, like, for me, I just want it to be visually cool. I want it to be visually surprising for something that is so like low bit to also have some fun like design. So we're definitely going to try to take our time with it and make that good and hopefully have it done by the end of the year. So yeah, so we're working on that. And that should be pretty rocking and good. So with that, yeah, right here. Yes, those Tecmo cutscenes were amazing, not just in Ninja Gaiden, but also in Tecmo Bowl games. That's true. You could straight up recreate scenes from the films. We're not going to so much do like a Friday the 13th film recreation, but they would just like, I would say like it's Ninja Gaiden meets Friday the 13th, the puzzle game with the little short animations when you kill the characters. It would be something sort of like in that line where it would be like two poses where the guy like does this and then you see like the ghost come out from behind him. And then the next pose is like he's stabbed. And like and blood's kind of going and then it's like game over, you know what I mean? It would be fun. And I want it to be scary. Like I want the ghost to jump out at you, you know what I mean? Like I want the ghost to appear, like, and I think that'd be really, really fun. I mean recreate scenes from NHA, maybe. Yeah, we could maybe do like the head crush, and we could do like different, or like the head smash, you know what I mean? Like we could do like the kills from NHA. Yeah, that might work. I like that idea. All right, so we've been going for an hour. I want to ease back into these podcasts. I'm not doing any 2-hour podcasts or anything. This isn't Joe Rogan, and I've really talked about as much as I can talk about the Jason universe and Crystal Lake as much, because we don't have much to go on. I would just say that like my optimism is half full right now as far as everything that's going on, and I'm hoping for the best. And I'm hoping that we get the best material that we can, and we have a lot of fun watching it. Who knows? Maybe the Angry Orchard has a sense of humor, and these will be funny, and there'll be something endearing about them. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. And I guess we're gonna find out on YouTube at the end of the summer. So that's gonna be really, really interesting. A couple more questions before I go. For the Jason universe, Never Hike Alone is recognized and noticed, but since they didn't create it or have anything to do with it, how can they do anything with a film character they didn't create? Well, they just come to me and ask them if they want to use it, and I say, please. Take it, go. Let our boy run, Forrest, run. Like go, Jason. Any guests in the future? Yes, I actually, I'm going to have Adam Marcus on at some point. I'm going to have Mike from We Watched a Movie on at some point. Obviously, James Sweet will be back every now and then to help co-host. And I'm sure, Friday the 13th alumni and lots of different people. Oh, hey, we got our first super chat of the night. Hi, Vincent. I'm super excited for Friday the 13th, Never Hike Alone 2 and the game 2. I can't wait. And the game 2. I love games, especially horror ones. Thank you so much and have a great day. Well, thank you. Dunpeel Duelist. Dunpeel Duelist 69. You always got to throw a 69 in there. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Would be killer if you got Kane Hodder. I don't know if Kane Hodder could. I mean, we could put a Kane in the game. That'd be kind of funny. I hope the best or anything Jason related. Me as well. How long will Ghost in the Fog campaign stay open? The campaign is going to stay open for quite a while. We're going to leave it open until we're done with production. That's the one thing I've learned about these Friday the 13th fan films is don't close your campaign until your production's over. And so this campaign is going to stay open as long as we're going to be making stuff. So you still have chances to get box sets and figures and everything else that we're going to have up there. I am going to take some things down. It looks like those VHS tapes aren't really selling that much. And so I don't want to get in too over my head with VHS tapes. I may be taking VHS tapes away. Because I've just basically almost killed Tapeworm with the Never Hike Alone 2 order, which I feel really, really bad about. But let me see. Please get Andrew on. Yeah, we got to have Andrew on. I think we can pull Andrew on. If you guys do have any requests, where are you? There you are. If you guys have any requests for guests, you want me to talk to somebody, you want me to reach out, I can probably get in touch with a lot of people. Or if there's anyone from Never Hike Alone you want on the show, wampstompfilms@gmail.com. You can email me and I will do my best to, get whoever you want on the show there. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Maybe we get Horror Stevie one of these days, which would be fun. Then doing any future licensed Friday the 13th movie, and it should be doing any future Friday the 13th licensed movie. NHA is that good. I appreciate that. How much did it cost to create one VHS tape? I think it cost between $11 and $15 per tape at least. And I don't even know. I mean, it's the labor. You know what I mean? It's sourcing the material. It's the labor. It's the time. I mean, it takes forever. So I don't mind paying kind of a premium for that. Then you should be doing, no, I already got that. VHS rolls. It does. All right, everybody. I'm going to sign off for the night. I'm pretty cooked. I've been working pretty hard for the last couple of weeks, running around doing different things, and it has been quite the week. But anyway, I do thank you for joining me this week. I will be back next week, maybe with a guest, maybe without. Maybe we'll get some more updates on Jason Orchid's universe, or maybe we'll get some Crystal Lake updates. I know if we do, I will be here to talk about it, just like I am every day. Almost every Friday, but we're going to be here for Friday the 13th. I'm going to be here for Friday the 13th. Fans, come to me, bring your complaints or bring your praises. When things come out, I want to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to talk about it here. We're going to keep everything above the belt as best we can, but we are going to have some fun, even if it comes at some people's expenses. We won't try to go too hard on them, but we will have a good day. So thank you everybody for coming out this week. Like I said, I'll be back next week. Make sure you're keeping an eye on those calendars for upcoming events. Oh, I did mention something which I didn't get to prepare for the day, but Davey Deathray, you'll like this. I will be at Mad Monster Phoenix, July 11th and 12th. I won't be there on the 13th. I got to go to LA on the 13th, but 11th and 12th, I will be at Mad Monster, Arizona with the horror show. Cecil and I will be sharing a table. I will have some merchandise with me. Some new photos are coming in. I got some posters. I got some not VHS tapes. I have Blu-rays, Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-rays. And I have some other pins and other fun stuff that I'm going to have. So if you're in the Phoenix area, I will definitely be there. Come and check out, come support the channel. We'll hang out. Davey, we definitely got to hang out. I'm sure we got a lot to catch up on. What's this? Facci's talking about Jason Takes Manhattan. You guys should head over to Matt Facci's channel and talk about Jason Manhattan right after this. So you guys have a great night. I'm just trying to find my media assets and go. Let me see. End stream. Play outro and stream. That's it. All right, guys. You have a good weekend. And until next time, I will see you on the trail.